Hello YouTube, this is the Magnum924 here with another stupid Nintendo article. Now, from the title alone, 5 reasons that a Nintendo NX may suck, you can already tell this is going to be a clickbait article. And you know what? I can understand that. The clickbait titles and articles, they're there so that you can go to the site and get riled up and whatnot. I understand that completely. I don't necessarily like that people have resorted to doing that, but I understand why they're here. However, I do not like when the clickbait title and the clickbait article either contradict each other or what you say in the article doesn't add anything new to the conversation. And to an extent, this article has both of those. So let's get right into the article itself. And it's one of those dumb ones where it's like 5 different pages, which those are also cheap. Like, why not just make it one whole page? Which actually I know why, so that way you can get more views, but whatever. Let's go on to the actual article itself. Nintendo recently announced its plans for this year's E3 and is downright depressing. If you haven't been paying attention to the dumpster fire that is Nintendo's marketing team, then you probably haven't heard that their plans for making E3 a Legend of Zelda exclusive. Yep, the game that's been constantly delayed won't be featured alongside anything else, not even their newest game system code-named Nintendo NX. This leads me to believe that Nintendo's groundbreaking console is going to be another overpriced, polished turd. Let's take a look at the 5 reasons why the NX is going to suck. There are a couple of things I have issues with in this one paragraph. Mainly that last sentence. Let's take a good look at the 5 reasons the NX is going to suck. See, most clickbait articles, the title itself is fairly mild, and then the article itself goes on this long rant about, just to the extreme, about how bad things are. With this article, in this case, the title is 5 reasons the NX may suck, meaning there's a possibility, there's a chance, and then this sentence, it's 5 reasons it is going to suck. So, if you're going to make a stance like this, at least be consistent the whole way through. Like saying 5 reasons NX will suck will make just as many, if not more, people click on your video, on your article, than saying it may suck. Just throwing that out there. And also, just because the NX is not being revealed at this year's E3, which I will admit is basically gaming Christmas. Just because it's not being announced there and it's coming out next March, you're just going to go ahead and assume that it's going to be crap. You do realize that there are plenty of other opportunities for Nintendo to reveal this thing in its entirety before March. They have Nintendo Directs, they have TGS, they have PAX, they have all these other gaming conventions and other opportunities throughout the entire year leading up to March where they can show the system off. And the majority of the time, if they show it off at a time that's not big as E3, then Nintendo won't have any chance to be overshadowed by whatever Xbox or PlayStation are doing, specifically the VR stuff, which is getting pretty big right now. And also PlayStation 4K, and if Microsoft is having some kind of upgraded platform, Nintendo wouldn't want any attention to be diverted away from the NX launch. If they revealed it through a direct or through some press conference like Sony or Microsoft did when they unveiled their systems, they could just reveal it just out of the blue, and Sony and Microsoft couldn't have anything to counter with at the time. They'd be completely unprepared. So, is it sad that we're not getting information yet at E3? Yes. I would appreciate to at least see the console in some form or fashion. Or at least see the Legend of Zelda NX version. But we're not getting that, but you know what? I'm okay with that. They clearly, I feel like they know what they're doing. So let's move on. So, E3. I briefly touched on this one within my intro, but it's certainly worth revisiting. The plan to abandon the E3, aka the biggest video game marketing event on the planet, is downright foolish and a sign the console isn't anywhere near completion. I was going to go with both. NX is slated to launch in March 2017, which means unveiling it this year's Expo would make the most sense. My bet is they roll the deadline and launch it in December 2017 with an in-house unveiling sometime in late October. First off, why December? Why not November of next year? December seems like a weird time considering pretty much every console comes out in November. December will be after Black Friday. That'd be even dumber. So you're telling me that if Nintendo did announce they came in December of next year, you wouldn't make another article saying, oh, this is so stupid, they should release it in November so they would get the Black Friday sales. I guarantee if that happens, and I see this site have an article like that, I will report on it instantly. Although I highly doubt that Nintendo will roll it back all the way to winter of next year. That would just be kind of ridiculous. But again, just because they're not showing it now means that it's going to be a failure and it's not even going to release March. They've said that they're not going to even show the system until the games are ready. If the games, and therefore the system, are not ready to be shown, then there's no reason to show it. At this point, I feel like they would only have like small demos of games, which is what the Wii U was revealed with in 2011, and that didn't really go over all that well. They would want to showcase everything they have in its fullest, in its best state they can, in order to show off the system. If you just have some demos and they don't even really show off the system, then there's no reason to show off the system, right? Although, like I said, it would be nice if we got some info on how Zelda will work with NX, but clearly they're focusing that on the Wii U version, which I feel is kind of smart, considering the Wii U fans have been promised that since, 2014, 2013 even. So, yeah, I feel like it's not a detrimental blow that they're not showing it here. I wish the games were ready. I wish the system was ready to be shown, but if it's not ready, there's no reason to show it. I understand that completely. But I also highly doubt that just because they're not showing it now doesn't mean it's not going to come out in March. Like I said before, they have plenty of other opportunities, even ones under their own realm of what they want to do, like with Nintendo Directs, or if they want to have their own press conference. That is a possibility, you know. Just saying. So, here's one. The Wii U. It's not a good sign when your target market has more questions than answers following the release of your product. The Wii U, I've been told, is rather decent console. I might have tried it out myself if I hadn't assumed it was another Wii add-on or a strange peripheral. Oh, shut up. Just shut up. Okay. You're telling me that you're a games journalist, or at least I'm assuming you are, and you didn't know what the Wii U was. You thought it was a Wii add-on or peripheral? Are you serious? You're just trolling at this point, I guarantee it. No one in the industry actually thought that, or in any form of the industry, journalists, reporters, developers, even fans of gaming, no one actually thought that it was an add-on or a peripheral to the Wii. That was just the casual people who the Wii was really their first console. Gamers didn't think that. You didn't think this. I almost guarantee that to like a 99% possibility you did not think the Wii U was an actual add-on or peripheral to the Wii. You're just saying that to troll right now. And also, you haven't played the Wii U, clearly. You haven't experienced it in any form or fashion. So why should I take your opinion as anything? That kind of invalidates every point you have. Every opinion you have about Nintendo, everything you're saying now contradicts what you're going to be saying because you didn't experience in any form or fashion the last console. Or at least that's what you're saying here. I just feel like even if by some chance you didn't know what the Wii U was and you didn't play it in any form or fashion, I don't think you should have said that here. You're lessening your credibility by saying that. Just saying. Let's move on. It doesn't help that the folks still don't realize what it is, even after Nintendo's marketing development caught wind of this debacle some 2 years later. What kind of marketing, with that kind of marketing, how is the NX going to fare? Okay, first off, like I said, the people who thought the Wii U was a Wii add-on were the people who were super casuals, like soccer moms and grandmas, and the people like that, who the Wii was really their first console and they just got it for the kids to play Wii Sports. That's it. Those were the people who were confused about what the Wii U was. And the NX is not going to have a similar marketing campaign or even similar marketing debacle in any form or fashion, because it's not going to be called Wii something. If they called it the Wii X, which they're not going to do, then we might have a problem. But they're not going to do that. You really think that people who didn't know what the Wii U was, most people who didn't know what the Wii U was that was because it was the Wii something. The NX is not going to be called Wii something, so that won't be an issue. But overall, I actually am kind of glad that the Wii U was as big of a quote-unquote failure as it was. This proved to Nintendo that they can't just shove out anything they want to the market and it be a success. The Wii was a fluke. It sold way more than it really should have just because of that super casual market it targeted. The Wii U, they tried to kind of capture that back and also the hardcore, but because that market was split, they ended up catching really nobody. So I'm glad that it didn't do all that well, because now Nintendo can learn from these mistakes and improve on the NX. The rest of this article, and even here, he basically banks on the fact that Nintendo doesn't know how to go forward from here, and they don't know how to improve. He basically says that Nintendo is not going to change anything with the NX and just do the exact same thing again. Which, they have a new president now, which, I mean, that's sad that Iwata had to pass away, but at the same time, a new president means they're going to be doing stuff differently. Just saying. The PS4 and Xbox One effect. The decision to launch right in the middle of the current gen console climb is either the sign of desperation or a serious lack of business acumen. The two leading console libraries are only going to get stronger as we hit the middle of the product's life cycle, which means fewer people will be investing in expensive and unproven consoles. Gamers have already made up their minds about which decision to go. Throwing a brand new system into the mix only spells disaster for the newcomer. Yes and no. See, the reason why the PS4 and Xbox One came out when they did was because the Wii U came out earlier than they were expecting. If the Wii U hadn't come out until 2013, the PS4 and Xbox One wouldn't have come out until at least 2014. Then Sony and Microsoft were actually scared of what Nintendo was doing, so they rushed their next consoles out to the market. This means that if Nintendo releases the NX 2017, Sony and Microsoft might decide to push out their next consoles in 2018 or 19, if there is a PS5 and Xbox whatever. If there is going to be Sony and Microsoft, if they are going to have a next system after PS4 and Xbox One, which there's rumors they aren't going to have the next consoles. So releasing now isn't necessarily the worst idea, especially if the NX is going to be more powerful than the PS4. Now, yes, everything else you said is right. The PS4 and Xbox One, their libraries are going to increase and grow stronger, especially with their first party. Although, as of right now, both consoles don't have the strongest lineup of first-party games. The PS4 is getting there with stuff like Uncharted coming out, but Xbox One and to an extent PlayStation 4, their first-party content just isn't up there yet, especially up to the point of what Nintendo will bring at launch. mean, there's rumors that, well, obviously Zelda's going to come out at launch. There's rumors a 3D Mario. There's rumors that Smash 4 is going to be ported over. So with that launch, at least launch window lineup, that alone, I personally feel, is stronger than anything the PS4 and Xbox One has up until this point. And if the NX does everything right, like have online features, be as powerful as or more powerful than PS4, preferably way more powerful, and have all these things that third parties like about the system, then third parties are going to start putting their games on the system. At least they better, or they be hypocrites, because they basically said this year that this generation they didn't put anything on the Wii U because the install base wasn't high enough and that the console wasn't strong enough, and also to an extent the online capability wasn't as strong as they would like. So if Nintendo solves all of those issues, third parties should put their games back on the system, therefore making it more competitive. Gimmicks. Nintendo is notorious for banking on console gimmicks to drive sales. Look at every Nintendo console over the past 20 years. All gimmicks. Really? All of them? So you're telling me that N64, the Rumble Pack, the memory card, the joystick, all of those were gimmicks? Really? So what exactly do you consider a gimmick, and what do you consider an innovation? Because everything I just mentioned, I personally would consider an innovation. They changed the way we play games, and those things are still being used today. Right? So what gimmick did the N64 have? Or the fact that it was shaped weird? Was that it? And same with the GameCube. The GameCube, the shape is the shape that the Xbox 360 stole or copied. And also, it was the first controller to have force feedback L2 and R2 buttons. Those are innovations to the controller, not gimmicks. The only real gimmicks here were the Wiimote and the gamepad of the Wii and Wii U. Those I can consider gimmicks because they're not. They did change how we played, but they didn't change it so dramatically that they're still being used to this day. Other companies did copy those ideas, even the gamepad, which people seem to forget. But they're not as drastic as the joystick or the memory card or the Rumble Pack. So if you had said past 10 years, I would have given you that, because the Wii and Wii U did come out in the past 10 years. But saying 20 years and everything in that time were gimmicks, that's a lie. Let's keep going. Gamers have evolved with the times and are interested in strong storylines, beautiful visuals, and excellent multiplayer performance. The days of being innovative and pulling a fast one on consumers are long gone. Whatever gimmick drives the NX is just not going to work. So we don't even know if the NX is going to have a quote-unquote gimmick. I know Kimishima has said that it's going to be a new way to play, but no one has any idea what that's going to be. And also, riddle me this. Isn't the PlayStation VR and HoloLens and all these other VR headsets, aren't they gimmicks? How? Just wondering, where do you draw the line between innovation and gimmick? Are those gimmicks or are they innovative? I personally consider them a gimmick because they're basically, they are a new way to play, but I don't see them as being significant as even the Wiimote. And back to your point about gamers evolving with the times and more interested in strong storylines and whatnot. Something that Nintendo does very well is market their games to the Nintendo crowd. And Nintendo clearly doesn't want to see Mario in a big open world story driven game. That's just, I feel like that would take away from Mario. So yes, gamers in general have evolved with the times and do now enjoy more open world and more story driven games, but Nintendo gamers, some of them definitely do enjoy other games, but they enjoy their Nintendo games to just be like they've always been. And I feel like Nintendo is very good at keeping to that. Clearly, Nintendo fans do not like change, and that could be both a good and bad thing. They didn't like Star Fox Zero because of the gamepad integration and the motion controls with that. They don't like Metroid Prime Federation Force because Samus isn't in it. So even little changes like that make Nintendo fans upset. So I don't feel like Nintendo needs to pander to these other gamers who aren't their core fan base. And that's just my opinion. If they can have some gimmick or innovation or whatever that allows you to play a Mario or a Zelda game better, why not go for it? Now, I honestly don't think they will have some big gimmick. I think they will just have a standard controller and maybe have like some second screen experience as an add-on, not required like the gamepad was. I feel like that would be fine, at least for me personally. Let's move on. Here's the big one. Third-party support. Nintendo has done a great job of alienating third-party developers over the past decade. The same is going to be said for the NX because it is going to lack adequate online multiplayer support. Oh my goodness. Like I said before, you're just going to assume like Nintendo cannot change and they cannot... Seriously? Just because the Wii U and even the Wii did not have strong online capabilities, that automatically means that the NX is not going to have these things. Nintendo knows that the Wii U did not do well because of this reason. They know the Wii U did not do well because of low third-party support. That's one of the main reasons. So you tell me that Nintendo is not going to at least do something to want to try to bring back the third parties. Like EA has said on multiple occasions, we're not going to support the Wii U because it has low power and the online capabilities just aren't there for our games. So you tell me that the NX just is not going to change anything. They're not going to adapt in any way to the changing environment. You really believe that? Nothing in the past has shown us otherwise. You haven't given them a chance. The reason the Wii U didn't do as well as it did was because they were banking off the Wii brand. So they didn't feel like they had to do anything because the Wii had pretty good third-party support. They were dumbed-down ports, but they still got a lot of third-party support on the system. People seem to forget that. And the Wii U, they felt like, oh, because it has the Wii brand, it'll sell a lot, and other people and third parties will want to put their games on our system. Clearly, that didn't work. So they're going, at least they better do something to change that. And ultimately, big-name third-party developers are not going to navigate around Nintendo's latest gimmick. Again, you're just assuming that Nintendo's going to have some crazy gimmick. They haven't even shown off the system yet. And you're just going to assume that the NX is going to have some crazy gimmick that no one's going to like. Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, and just about every EA sports title won't be featured on the NX. Oh my goodness. Here we go with more assumptions. Like, if Nintendo gives third parties no reason to not have their games on the system, like I said, if it is super powerful, if it does have good online capability, if it does have things like cross-game chat, even if Nintendo might strike a deal with these people that, okay, will try to market your games the best we can. If they do all of that, which is things they have complained about, third parties have complained about this with the Wii U, if Nintendo changes and adapts to these demands, then they'll get these games back. They just will. Or at least they should, unless third-party developers don't want to be even more in the hole with Nintendo fans. Let me read that sentence again. Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, and just about every EA Sports title won't be featured on the NX, and Nintendo's going to feel the aftermath once again. Love them or hate them, but third parties are absolutely dominating the gaming scene right now, and Nintendo will once again fail to see that. Dude. I want to say it was Reggie who actually came out and said the reason why the Wii U isn't doing all that well is because they don't have the third-party support they want. Now, he did go into denial for a while, saying, oh, we have strong support from people like Activision and Ubisoft, which at the time they had a couple of ports here and there, but it was not as strong as they would want to. Now, they realize, oh crap, no games are coming to our system outside of like Dance Dance Revolution or Just Dance and stuff like that, and Skylanders, like these kids and family games. No one's gonna buy our system just to play Nintendo and these family games. You really think Nintendo's not going to change anything about the NX from the Wii U? It's just going to be a Wii U 2.0. They're just not going to change anything. That would literally be the worst decision Nintendo has ever made if they just decide, no, we're not going to change anything. Now, if the NX does reveal, whenever it does, maybe August, maybe even sooner or later, whenever it's revealed, and there is some crazy innovation that turns off third-party developers, then yes, almost everything in this article has merit. But if the NX is a traditional console with these gimmicks as add-ons, which is more than likely going to be true, then everything here is just assumptions that is going to be proven wrong. I almost guarantee that. But you won't see this site post an article saying, "Oh, the NX is going to be amazing," just because it doesn't have a gimmick or it has the third party support. You're not going to see that because it doesn't fit the narrative of bashing Nintendo. But whatever. I think I've rambled on about this long enough. I just want this thing to be released as soon as possible. Like, if not at E3, late June, please, Nintendo, just so these people can stop with these stupid articles, please. So, I'm done. If you find any articles that you think are dumb, and after I've been calling them stupid Nintendo articles just because that's all I've really been finding, stupid Nintendo articles. But if you find any article that you consider dumb from any website about any company or any system, please send it to me. I'll talk about anything if I feel strongly about it. So, yeah, it's 9924 signing up. See ya.